Today on the show, we're talking, and I'm with John Pidgeon from the This Is Property show. So these questions today, it seems to me it's like this collision of life and money and what do I do? And I just think it's, there's a couple here about we've got high income earners, high mortgages that basically feel broke. We've got people here that trying to work out what they want to do with their business. We've got a mid-40s with a partner and a house paid off with some inheritance coming. We've got someone far out. This is the property hour. There's another one here, someone in their 20s that owns their house outright. So
huge.
And I think before we do get into these type of questions, everyone needs to know that money is relative to your situation. Like how many people, and like the one that we talk about soon, it's like they're on incomes that people would dream of, like near 400K household income, but they're like, we've got no money. It's this frog in the pot.
It's in perspective, isn't it?
Boiling. And that's no different than someone living here out of a capital city earning 130 grand a year household income and still relatively feel it's too tight. It's just it's fascinating.
No, can't make this stuff up, Glenn.
No. That's why we go to you in the Facebook group. All right, let's read this first one. Just mulling over some ideas. My husband has a small business and has been struggling with over 500K worth of debt. He has put it to me to quit my work and be a stay-at-home mum so he can fully concentrate on the business. At the moment, I'm in a job with pay that we need to survive and I love my job. We also have an 800K plus mortgage that I have ill feelings towards as it's a massive debt. We are on 10 acres with an okay sized house in a semi-rural area in Western Sydney. I've been thinking about the option of selling our place to downsize and eventually repurchasing with the capital growth or gains, the CG. We would have roughly 700K left over once our current mortgage is paid. I would ideally like a mortgage of less than 500K so we can pay it down quicker and be closer to our FI, financial independence, I guess. High fidelity, FI, closer to our fidelity.
Financial independence.
Financial fidelity. Selling would lessen the pressure off my husband and reduce mortgage repayment so I could continue working. What would you do? Man, there is a lot there. I actually went to the Facebook group and I'll just log in to bring it up. Like, what's your initial response there, John?
Yeah, so many bits and pieces that I want answers to be able to come to some sort of conclusion, or not a conclusion, but just my thoughts. But I think, there's the debt on the small business. How much stress is that creating, or is it relative to the asset value? Is it like you need to know the turnover of the business? Like 500K of debt in some examples is very minor, whereas others it's like, oh, wow, how did it get to that when my income's only X? So you want to if we've got to put things in perspective and say, well, what does it actually mean? Is it that bad?
Yeah. So I asked for some clarity because I'm reading this. I'm like, there's something here that ain't computing.
Yeah.
And I'll read. So I basically said, like, firstly, what is the business?
Yeah.
Right.
So what is it?
Vehicle manufacturing and custom work.
Right.
And then I said, and what is the 500K debt for? And what does the business turn over each year? Yeah. As you asked. She says, I'm not 100% sure what the business turns over each year. The debt is a mix of land taxes, workshop mortgage repayments that are behind, income tax, super, and a billion other different insurances.
Right.
And I said, well, what is the debt on the workshop itself and the value of the workshop? This is where it's like, this information is material. And there's a whole thing here, John, because there's one giant thing that's standing out, and we'll get to that. It's a $1 million mortgage and the workshop's worth $2.5 million.
Right.
So there's a 1.5 ton of equity sitting there.
That changes the game slightly.
Like, my instant response is, I'm sorry, your husband can't run a business.
Well, and my thoughts when you mentioned that went straight to, okay, I'm really good at what I do. I've never run a business before, but organically, because I'm good at it, I get customers in and I'm busy and I've got to put more staff on and I all of a sudden buy this premise and all of this. But I've never actually gone through business training per se.
Or had someone doing the bookkeeping and the accounts.
And how common is that in any industry?
100%.
So when you look at it, asset versus debt, there's actually not too much of a concern there. The concern is, right, as you mentioned, how's our bookkeeping work? Okay, money coming in, X amount goes to super, X amount goes to income tax. Like you've got to portion the income that comes in.
So the whole situation here, like in money terms, this is not a balance sheet problem. She's writing to me here saying that it is a balance sheet problem because we've got all this debt. The problem is a P&L problem, which is your husband isn't making enough income. Maybe he did well sometimes and things have caught up. Your husband can't run a business. And that's not a judgy thing to say or something's changed. And the reason I want to go there is at the moment, so he wants me to quit my work and be a stay-at-home mum so he can fully concentrate on the business. What are you talking about? That's not going to change anything with the business.
Yeah, I don't know the ages of the kids, but the doubling down on that is she loves her job.
Yes.
All of a sudden there's no purpose.
Like, what are we
there
doing
may be
here?
a different purpose that's not going to make her content and happy. So that's a massive red flag.
Yeah. I just honestly see this as the problem is your husband at some point, and maybe at some point it's been really successful, they've printed money, but at some point income has dropped and we haven't keep up with our basic money cash flow. And even this is similar, John, probably a month ago now, that buyer's advocacy business Dashdot went under.
Yep.
And the letter that they wrote on the website was all these reasons. And sure, I don't think they're excuses. There might be explanations that add to the thing that happened.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when you're running a business, you do not ever get around the fundamentals of cash flow management.
No.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And if you run on the line, you look up and you're in 500 grand worth of debt later. Now, we don't know if he has been a primary caregiver and working part-time, not sure, but I do know one thing, if getting her to quit and be a stay-at-home mum so he can fully concentrate on the business, it ain't going to change it.
Well, yeah, there might be a different version of that could work. I don't know, employing someone to take a portion of the load in their life so that he can concentrate on. If we strip this back and go back to when he first started this business, what was he good at? Now, has that changed over time? Is he no longer doing that? Is someone else doing that? Like he goes back to the core talent that he's got in his business and then outsources everything else, or not outsources, but has other people in the business. So don't know the structure of it, but we need to get back to basics here, a cash flow management plan, personal life, business life.
So if we pop up the thing back on the screen, we would have, so at the moment they've got an 800K debt and she would like a mortgage of less than 500. That difference isn't big enough to full on, I get it, like less is better, but that's not the problem. The problem is an income issue at the top of the funnel.
Yeah. She goes on to say downsize, eventually repurchase with the capital growth. All of that is red flag, out of our control. We don't know what the growth is going to do. It's not going to make you happy. By the sounds of it, you enjoy where you are and the 10 acres you're on, semi-rural, etc. You're not going to get that if you downsize. If it's worse comes to worse, you sell the asset, clear the debt and clear your mortgage and then go and do something you love.
So a couple of other, and this is just such rich in things to pick at, these questions. Semi-rural in Western Sydney, last time I checked, they put a new friggin' airport in Western Sydney. 10 acres, like unless it's a bloody...
You're not selling that.
Oh, but there's like, that could be worth millions. I don't know why there's something there. we would have roughly 700K over once the mortgage is paid off. So they're saying it might only be worth under 2 million.
Yeah, Western Sydney is a big area, so it could be 40K out. Who knows? But
I'm just not knee-jerk reactioning selling the house when this is a business income problem and it's come to a head. I'm probably thinking, Johnny, we've done better in the business of commercial property than car manufacturing. I think it's going to be more of a thing of, because I just don't see the business at the moment with all this pressure that it's caused paying back that 500K anytime soon. Like if I had a 500K debt in my business, that's a campaign to pay down.
Yeah, it's a focus, but it's in essence, it's not as important as the mortgage.
Yeah.
Because the business debt is, maybe a tax deduction in the business. So,
but that's cute, but it's still a cash flow thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we go back to basics and sort the cash flow out.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, they've made some good decisions.
Yeah.
And unless it was all inheritance, they've bought 10 acres and they've bought a commercial premise.
Yeah.
They've now got conservatively $3.5 to $4 million worth of property. It's actually not that bad.
No, that's right. So I'm like literally, this is probably what I would do to bring this to a head. Your husband, I think there is a career issue. He would, and I know he loves custom work and vehicle manufacturing. Something has to change. I think we need to sell the commercial property. I think we need to pay off the debt of that we own in the business and then clear the house mortgage and press restart.
So I'm not going that drastic that quickly.
I'm a drastic type of guy.
You are. I'm saying let's have a conversation and say, well, husband's obviously stressed. Mortgage wants to be reduced, but is it hurting enough for us to make serious change, which is selling the commercial premise, or can we actually get our cash flow right in the business and have a strategy over the next 5 years to wipe the debt and reduce the mortgage? Because when you look at it, 800K mortgage in 2026 is probably standard.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, I don't think there's a huge difference between 500 and 800K when we're talking about residential property in the skirts of Sydney.
Just in Sydney, yeah. And I can assure you 10 acres, whether it's subdividable or not, in Western Sydney is highly attractive.
Yeah, that's what I'm just so intrigued. I think there's some issues if the husband doesn't think the 500K worth of debt is a problem. I think it's a big problem.
Yeah, so the question of...
But also, we don't know if the guy's turning over $8 million a year.
And how he handles stress or pressure, because everyone adjusts to that in different ways.
Yeah.
If it's becoming an issue where they're starting to eat into relationship and family's not happy and all that, it's not worth it. Sell the commercial.
Like, why should she quit her job to be a stay-at-home mum when she's happy in her career? They need the income.
Yeah.
Why don't he try and turn up the business and hire staff within, or try and generate enough money to pay for an au pair or whatever they call them?
Au pair, yeah. So
I don't know. It's easy to say this crap when you're sitting in a shed in Newcastle.
Emotion, but he obviously likes what he does if he's saying to her, quit your job, because I'm actually okay with mine. It's just that I'm bleeding some money here.
Like, you can like it all you want. If the economics don't stack up, this is the problem, everyone. The fact that there is debt of land taxes and income tax and super, that is critical. Yeah. This is like breaking point, and I don't know if you can turn the business around.
I would
literally, I would be more scared of the land tax debt than the ATO debt.
Well, the most important person other than these two in this conversation is their accountant. They need to be sitting down and
Someone's
saying,
been asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, what's going on here? Like, I'm running a business. I'm employing you to, like, have some visibility from the outside in. What should I be forecasting for, etc.?
I got an idea, John.
What do you got?
Got an idea. If only they had a 10-acre block. Let's sell the commercial premises. Let's pay off that debt back, right? 500K. Let's clear the house mortgage, flip and build a 200 grand shed on the block and work from there. Then you can love what you do without all the overheads, because then it can be more of the hobby business. Because I'm seeing this vehicle manufacturing custom work. There could be a lot of work, and if you are in that industry, people will know who you are and they will go to you. So, for example, next door here, Ben at Benchmark Performance or whatever it's called, he's got the dyno next door. Yeah. All day long, this is why I had to spend freaking $20,000 on insulation for audio here. But like all day long, there's trucks that are pulling up. Yeah. People truck their cars in to get him to tune them.
Yeah.
He was also doing tuning for cars in Japan remotely here.
Wow.
Like hugely specialist niche. So if this guy was just like, because he could be the best custom work guy on the planet, the best vehicle manufacturer on the planet, I'm honestly building my own custom shed on the 10 acres and being debt free, and all that pressure's gone, and he can still do custom stuff. I don't know. Call me old fashioned.
Well, I'm reluctant to sell an asset if it's been performing for them. That's all.
They owe 500 friggin' grand in debt. Where is that coming from?
Yeah, I know, but we've all – no, I shouldn't say we've all. These situations happen, and sometimes I would want them to explore a solution to get rid of that in the next 5 years before you say, yep, let's just sell it all. That's all.
Yeah.
How long have they been running the business?
Well, this is all the crap that we don't know.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like if he's really good, I would assume the commercial property is very near to where they live anyway. If you're that good, your customers, you're like, yeah, our warehouse or whatever is now on this property. I just don't see the downside in being completely debt-free.
No, that's definitely a positive. However, you've lost an asset in the meantime.
But you're not paying all the interest.
No.
And you've removed all that stress. Anyway, we don't know the full situation. Anyway, let us know if you're commenting on Spotify or YouTube. What would you do in that situation? Because I just think it's fascinating, and good luck to them. And But it's just this whole thing just seems concerning to me.
Yeah, as do I think it's concerning. But the debt can do a lot of things to a lot of people. Like it causes a lot of stress, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And sometimes we can't see the trees for the woods or the forest from the leaves or
whatever the thing is, whatever bad analogy you're trying to spit out. But so for me, and this is crazy, right? I think sometimes in small business, people think it's okay to have debt, which it is, right? But the problem is if you've got a relationship that you just walk into owning debt, like the red flag is that it's debt, not – because I'm just thinking, okay, there's 500 grand debt. Is there a dyno tuner or a hoist that's equipment finance that's 300 grand that generates the income?
Yeah.
But if it's all this sloppy stuff, that's a different type of debt.
But I'm sitting here thinking, as everyone else probably is, we've got a commercial asset worth $2.5 million that's got no debt from a loan perspective.
It's got $1 million. No, it's not on there.
Oh.
The $1 million, $1 million mortgage. This was the thing I clarified. It's got the $1 million mortgage and it's worth 2.5. So there's $1.5 million.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, because some of the debt is overdue mortgage repayments.
Yeah. So the 500 worth of debt is in the 1 mil. Or is it
forget
over
the 1
above?
million. Yes. The 500K is the operating costs of debt. So we're behind in income tax, super, mortgage repayments, land tax.
All right. John just caught up.
Yeah.
Righto. There's more of an argument to sell on that basis.
Yeah, because anyway, that was the longest segment in the world.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think, what you would do, but I don't know. I just think something has to change.
Yeah.
And if you owe money to the ATO and land tax and your mortgage repayments, it doesn't take long before you hear this. We're coming to put a lien, like we want our money. Like it's just, let's get ahead of this spend 200 grand, build a nice tin shed or whatever on your property.
Yeah.
And then you're closer to the family, all that stuff. Anyway, this episode is brought to you by Sphere Home Loans. Hey, we are pro mortgage brokers here. We just ask anyone who is considering to get a mortgage for the first time, or if you want to review your mortgage, if you don't have a mortgage broker, if you want to potentially buy another property, give the team at Sphere Home Loans a call. You can Google them at Sphere Home Loans. They help people all over Australia, and we really appreciate their support, and we thank you for checking them out first because let's keep it in the family.
Absolutely.
My name is Glen James, joined by
John Pidgeon.
Let's do a podcast right now. Before we get into it, this show is general advice only. I've got a license to provide that advice. Full details can be found in the show description. My name's Glen James, former financial advisor. I host this show and a show called Retire Right. I've got some books, the award-winning Quick Start Guide to Investing and the Quick Start Guide to Your First Property, available where good books are sold or in the description. If you're new here, welcome. If you're an old hand, welcome to M3. Let's get into it right now. Okay, here's another what would you do? I'm mid-40s with a partner and one child. House is paid off. Maxing super and aggressively investing into ETFs each pay. After my father recently passed, I found out my mum's estate is worth somewhere between 10 to 15 million, which she has said she will split evenly between my sister and I in her will. She's mid-80s. And sorry for the loss of your father, Anonymous. I know I should not count my chickens before they hatch, but I can't help feeling I should take my foot off the pedal, maxing super and or aggressively investing and start looting a little more. What would you do? And if you are new to the show, I've got a philosophy called LOOT, which stands for Life on Own Terms, which is basically you're on this speck of dust in the middle of infinity for 80 or 90 years. Why not try and set your life up to do what you want to do, which is life on your terms now?
What would you do?
Well, he talked about maxing super. Have you heard of looks maxing, John? He wouldn't have.
Of what?
Yeah, he wouldn't have, everyone. Looks maxing.
Looks
maxing.
Tell me more.
All right. I do a thing called money maxing, everyone.
Jeez, I haven't seen that stuff for a while.
And so what you do, you get your $50 notes and this is money maxing. It's a new thing. And you dab it all around your face like that. So
Clean as it is.
I need to wash my face. And so this is called money maxing, everyone. Anyway, John doesn't get it. I'll send him a link later.
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Where are you going with it?
I just saw super maxing. Okay, 100%. Number one, there's a bigger discussion here. There's just him and his sister. I think him and his sister need to likely sit down with mum and mum, we live in reality. What's the estate plan look like? There's obviously more money than God here. He doesn't need the money now. I'm 100% taking the foot off the gas because let's just break this down. The house is paid off. He's maximizing super in their 40s. They've done all the hard work. Life is too short to not enjoying it at this stage. Just turn it down a little bit. You have my permission. Look at me, you, Anonymous.
I think
you have my permission to ease off on the investing outside of super to put that into a little bit more lifestyle because you are investing for the long term in your super. And I don't read this anywhere, John, where it says, I hate my job and I hate my life and all that stuff. And I'm honestly probably saying to mum and the sister, with the guidance of an estate planning lawyer, we probably need to start looking at the transition of estate planning now.
Yeah.
Like if it's worth 15 mil now, well, I just it's a lot of. It's not as if when he says chickens before they hatch, it's not as if mum's got 500 grand inheritance and my sister and I are getting 250 each. We've got a 500 grand mortgage. Should we keep going aggressive? That 250 in the scheme of his life won't move the needle too much. But if that inheritance was 10 to 15 million, even if it was 8 million in total
It's enough.
at the time and there's 4 million each, I just think we need to have an adult conversation, mum. And mum could live another 20 years. We know that. What's your plan with your estate plan now that dad's gone? I think we need to have, what do you want to do? You want to do some charitable giving? We've got a child. Do we need to start having, because this is, people will like at me like, well, no, it's an inheritance and all that, it needs to wait. I get that, but I also live in reality. And if him and his sister are mature enough to know that they will get a portion of it, mum certainly doesn't need it now. I think she's probably more than happy. And she doesn't have to do anything now, but I'm just saying that it just probably needs to be a bit more of a chat. And
there may well have been. I think this person, like, we want to ideally live life on own terms anyway. Now, if they've gone really hard up until this time, that's 20 years of doing that, give or take, mid-40s. So, yeah, knock yourself out and pull back on maxing out super and aggressive investing. But I think it's not a risk, but the thing to think about is this person conceptually doesn't have to worry about money again. Now, what that brings with it is an element of, okay, what's my purpose now, and what's my relevance, and what do I want to spend my next 40 to 50 years doing? Because we're not doing it to create wealth, because that's already achieved and I'm only mid-40s. So I think that's where a lot of time needs to be spent. Yeah,
and so my question to you is, I think, forget, $7 million walking in the door in 20 years or 15 years or 10 minutes, who knows. Regardless of that inheritance, and even if mum wanted to give it all to the cat shelter and only give $1 million each to each child.
And that can happen. That's happened before.
Yeah, and that's absolutely her right. This person, I think it was a guy, I looked at his name, he's still fine in life if the inheritance never came.
Yeah, correct.
And so I think we're agreeing that still potentially all the hard, and this is it, people work so hard to pay off the mortgage, max super, investing, you're allowed to live.
You're going to be okay anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm reluctant and this is a big figure.
Yeah.
Though undeniable figure. So I'm reluctant to make too many changes to my life on the purpose of something that's still not guaranteed.
Yeah.
It's a strong chance that it will come through, but I have seen a situation where someone came into the family, got their hands on the will, changed the figures, got mum to sign it, and all of a sudden they're left with nothing.
We've seen it all before, but I think just in the practical sense, because I like to live in reality.
Yes.
If this was if my dad fell off the perch and it was mum, and mum had an asset pool in her own name now worth 15 mil, I would be sitting down with Lauren like, mum, this is yours and dad's money, number one. Number two, what is your plan? And we've said here that which she has said she'll split evenly. Okay. How does that look in practice?
Yeah. How many assets are there? What's it made up of?
Where is it all? And you've got grandchildren. Do you want to do some proactive planning now, whether we set up another investment company or trust pretty much out the window now if all this stuff gets put to bed, but do we want to start the transition with the estate planning and moving stuff into I don't know. That's what I'm just I'm not saying, Mum, give me $5 million now.
Yeah.
They don't need the money. And particularly, I will clarify again, Mum does not have to give 1 cent to anyone now or when she dies. But she's made it clear that it will likely be split evenly. But in answer to old mate's question, we let's just live a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. But you've got to have a nice balance, and that's regardless of where anyone's at.
Yeah, actually, question. When I think it's best practice, particularly if you are in mid-40s, like you're still not statistically at the height of your earning capacity for your career. I reckon that's in your 50s. I'm probably, like, the house is paid off. If it was a $3,000 a month mortgage, I'm still paying that mortgage into my super or invest just to keep that real world accommodation costs there. So it just doesn't slip over into spending.
No, there's a balance, isn't there? And we don't know the person's personality or how they spend money. Or they sounds though they've been pretty conservative throughout to get to this point. So yeah, you can release the brakes a bit, but not completely loose.
Yeah. Anyway, that's what I would do. I would 100% lift the foot off. And remember, guys, keep money maxing. You just got to do the little chisels on the jawbone, John.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets, you got to, because it strengthens the jawline.
Right.
So you look stronger.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good strong jaw.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back to the communist segment of the week. Hello, my fellow comrades. I always think of Jess Brady, the comrade. She's our regular communist when we're on campfire chats with her.
Ah, is she? Yeah.
Yes, everyone loves Jess. And just a bit of update on that. We, a few months ago, we kind of restructured how we're doing things here. And with Jess being in Sydney and whatnot, we've handed the Financially Fierce podcast over to Jess. So she now owns it.
It's her baby.
I owned it previously and did all that. But I'm like, I want you to take it. We had some capacity issues here. I just please run with it, go for it. It's all hers now. And she'll still be on the show every now and again, but just in terms of the background, it's not a show that I own and produce for Jess anymore. We handed it all over to Jess.
Very good.
So we asked everyone in the Facebook group, what's the goal with your investing outside of super? 20% of people said a specific target. 80% of people said just building wealth generally.
The 80-20.
The old 80-20. It's a rule in life, isn't it, John?
Yeah. Laura, my main reason was not to be held back by not being able to access super until preservation age.
James, to help my daughter buy a house. Awesome.
Ryan, at 55, I'm pulling the pin on work. I've worked out the numbers for early retirement.
Giddy up. Andrew, diversify my income streams.
Brad says funding the early retirement gap until 60.
I love it. Miriam, boost retirement savings because not much super.
Paul.
Whoa. Hang on a sec. What's the goal with your investing outside of super? Boost retirement savings because not much super. Miriam, if you're going to keep working till over 50, keep boosting super because it's better for tax.
Paul, we want to retire somewhere around 50 to 55, so it needs to support the pre-super years.
Yeah, giddy up. Andy, at this stage, my goal is to learn more of what to look for, red flags, what not to do. Learn what good qualities a good company has. So just learn and have a crack with money I can afford to lose. Some specky plays there from Andy.
Yeah, at the end of the day, all roads lead to Rome, don't they?
They do, John.
If you're after personal financial advice, don't get it from a podcast. But if you want guidance tailored to your situation, head to moneypodcast.com.au and click Get Help. We'll connect you with one of our trusted professionals, financial advisors and mortgage brokers, who work with people right across Australia. No matter where you are, they can help. Now, before we get back to the show, a quick reminder to protect your financial life. That means having income protection sorted. It means having death cover if there's any debt or dependents relying on you. It means getting your personal insurance in order. Most people insure their car, they insure their house, but what about themselves? Sky Wealth, who support this podcast, are specialist financial advisors who can help you get the right cover in place. Their advice is often more comprehensive and better value than going direct through your super. Book a complimentary 15-minute chat at sky.com.au. That's skye.com.au, and they'll point you in the right direction.
Anonymous says the following. You can have a read, John. I'm sick of chatting.
Glenn's written into his own show. Investing help. You're in your mid-20s.
I really am,
You
John.
own a property outright.
I really am.
You have no debts.
I really am.
You have around 25K currently in savings purely to invest outside an emergency fund and sinking funds. You read the books but seem to still not understand completely, maybe the neurospicy brain's fault. Respect the place of super and have 3 times average for my age, but wanting more something I could access in 10 to 20 years if needed, not locked in for another 50 years. What investing advice would you give? Platform to use, dividends versus long-term gains, ETFs to invest in. Think best suited for me is more of a set and forget investment strategy rather than something I need to manage. Thanks for any advice.
What are you saying to this person?
I
will say,
you're
let's
in a great
turn.
position.
Yeah, like you've crushed it. So awesome.
Property outright in your 20s, I'd say you'd be in the 0.0001% of Australian.
And they have an emergency fund and 25K in savings purely to invest. One thing, and not locked in for another 50 years, we always need to turn down the drama.
Yeah. Well, it's 40, not 50.
Well, probably 35.
Mid-20s, 30s, 55, 35,
35?
to 40.
Yeah.
So how much are we saving? We'd probably like to know the answer to that. And do you want to divvy some of that up? Don't know.
So what investing advice would you give? Platforms to use, dividend versus long-term gains, ETFs to invest in. So this is I'm actually going to talk about what I do, and this is not a paid ad. This is just a fact, what I do.
Yeah.
And there is a interest in this company because they license our podcast, but I use it myself. I've got this thing. My whole goal with money is to live on less than I earn, be a generous giver, and invest the rest. Now, the investing the rest bit isn't to get the maximum return possible, shoot the lights out. It's literally to have long-term growth that beats inflation and the cash rate. Like, pretty simple.
Yep.
I personally use Life Sherpa Invest, which is effectively a robo-advisor platform.
Mm-hmm.
There are other, for full editorial vibes, there are other platforms like I think Rask has one, your StockSpot, where you use their platform and their portfolio, and all I focus on doing is I've got a weekly transfer that goes into that portfolio.
Yep.
And it gets invested across a series of ETFs. It gets rebalanced when needed. And like so many people say to me, oh, so what do you do invest in? And like, you must be really, I'm like, no, I'm actually really crap at managing money and investing. That's why I just pay for a professional portfolio manager, because even though it's a fee to manage that portfolio, John, the fact that I'm not getting my mitts on it and trying to beat the market and all that means I end up making all.
So you're putting, what you're saying is you're putting more of an emphasis on the, well, let's call it dollar cost averaging, the continual amount invested over on a weekly basis than you are the platform, the dividends, the ETFs.
Yeah.
So they're secondary to your philosophy of let's just put an amount away and consistently do that for the next 30 or 40 years and everything will be okay.
So and I know that they said that they've read all the books and they don't understand. I think you still need to read or watch This Is Investing YouTube, because I get it. Like, I read something that's like, don't understand. I think you need to either watch some YouTubes, watch some tutorials. Maybe I'm actually one thing I am doing, everyone, it probably will be up. If it's up before when this episode goes live, I'll put a link in the comments. I'm actually doing an investing explainer for teens. So my nephews, they're 14.
Yep.
They want to invest. And like, how do we do it? And I'm like, you guys need to write me 10 questions, 5 each.
Yep.
I'm going to answer them. I'm going to do a dedicated YouTube for both of you to watch. I'll put it on our YouTube. and it'll be targeted at 14 because I need the plane to land with the simple concepts about investing.
I'll get my 3 to tune in.
Yeah, and so I'm doing it around, and like so for James, both kids, they got their tax file numbers because we're going to invest it in their name. We know that there's a punitive tax rate for kids earning over 416, but I'm kind of, in my mind, I'm going to be like, start to pay attention once the income, because I don't know if they will have more than $10,000 over the next 4 years. So I'm kind of taking the view that I reckon we might be fine to just do it in their name, and I'll log in and do their tax return each year myself. And we just I set up a master account on Beta Shares Direct. Not a sponsor, no affiliation, just a fact for them. So it's like I log in as Glen James. I've got 0 in there.
Yep.
And there's 2 kids accounts.
Yep. So it doesn't matter that they're not 18. They've got a tax file number and away they go.
Yeah. And then so basically all that to say, maybe because I get this, I'm very visual and I can read all the copy in the world, but sometimes I need the visual for the plan to full on land. And this kind of could help you.
Yeah.
And I'll be shooting in the next couple of weeks and it probably will go up because I think this is going up on the 23rd of June. What happens on the 24th of June every year, John?
My son's birthday.
Your older son? Is it?
No, he's 23rd.
What happens the next day?
Yours.
You're welcome. So I think 100% on the right track, but what investing advice I would give, my investing advice would be pick a portfolio that automatically rebalances and is diversified. Now that's either what I do with Life Sherpa Invest, or it's also VDHG, DHHF. Because the concepts are you need to focus at your day job and just focus on shoveling money and letting the portfolio rules do the work.
I like it.
And then, I just think dividends versus long-term gains. I mean, it's probably a bit of everything because we want diversification, and a portfolio will hopefully give you a bit of everything.
So the ETFs to invest in, important, but not the sole, because everyone focuses on that. Which one do I want to invest in that's going to give me the maximum returns?
Yeah.
So
anyway, that's kind of, you're crushing it, you're killing it. Don't invest in anything until you understand. And basically what I'm going to do with this explainer is probably use VDHG as the example ETF or DHHF. Like I'll show the boys because I'm going to walk them through cash, compound interest, owning a share. So like they love BCF. So I'll talk about, you can buy some of BCF through the retail super group, whatever the company's called, on the ASX. Then it's like, we've got this. Well, we don't want all our eggs in that basket. We want a heap of companies. And then we cascade to the next thing. Well, we just don't want a heap of companies in Australia. What about the Microsofts and the Apples of the world? Yep. Okay. We don't want 50 different shares, so we need to go to a one-stop shop. So I'll walk methodically through that to explain to someone under 18, namely a 14-year-old.
Or anyone else.
Yeah, because it's the concepts that I'm of the brain where it's like once I understand the concept, the numbers can change and everything can change. This one here, just need to clarify, I just need a reality check on personal insurance costs. Insurance quotes as follows, and we'll pop these on the screen. They're through an advisor. Life cover is $485 a year through super for about $554,000 of cover. TPD, total and permanent disability cover, $1,650, $1.7 million in cover, and they've got the own occupation TPD tacked on through super and a split outside, which is $450 a year. Trauma insurance of $125 a year, which is $115 of cover. Income protection, $6,500 a month until age 65, 90-day waiting period through super. Male, 28, white-collar desk job, Exclusions on some minor physical injuries from sport, but nothing significant. The TPD seems extreme to me, but it might be due to any/own occupation. So I'll just run through a couple of things here, John, and if you want to answer, jump in and ask some questions. So based on the insurable amount of $6,500 a month, that's basically works out to be 70% of probably around 110 grand a year earnings.
Yep.
So how I like to work this stuff through is the total annual premium is $3,390, which works out to be about 3% of earnings. Again, house isn't hugely on fire. I probably don't think we need to spend more than 3% on an individual basis, ish. There's always asterisks and ishes. But 575 of this, which is the trauma outside super and the own occupation TPD outside super, is not tax deductible, but the remaining 2815 is tax deductible to the super fund.
So it's not bad.
So it starts to reduce significantly because there's probably going to be 15% deduction.
So looking at the question.
Yes. It's a question on the cost.
Of TPD.
Yeah. Well, a total cost. So one thing that we do, and I'm thankful they went through an advisor, please go to a financial advisor to get your insurances. The policies are actually cheaper than your industry super fund. We did a whole thing with Phil from Sky Wealth on showing actual details where some of them were like 40, 50% cheaper through an advisor.
Yeah, wow.
And they're a better quality policy. And you've got the options to have an own occupation TPD definition and all that stuff, which can't be held in super.
And you can chat to someone who's not
professional.
Not focused on any one particular product either.
So how I'm seeing this anonymous is we go to the advisor and we get the recommendations, and those recommendations reflect the gap and the need. So whatever the reason is, the rationale, 1.7 million of TPD cover and 555 of life cover. Now, there were some things here because I actually flicked Phil a message and I said to Phil, why wouldn't you gross up the life cover to meet the TPD cover? Because there's a weird quirk in life insurance that death cover in Australia you don't pay stamp duty on, right? TPD cover as a standalone or trauma insurance as a standalone, you pay stamp duty on.
Right.
So what can end up happening is if you had $1 million of death cover and linked $1 million of TPD cover to it, usually it works out cheaper than having TPD cover standalone and a little bit less of life cover because you're not paying the stamp duty. So you usually get free death cover effectively.
Right.
And I said to Phil from Sky Wealth, like, why wouldn't, and I sent him this screenshot, I'm like, why wouldn't they gross up the life cover? He said, we used to not gross up only if there was no need for the life cover and it was cheaper not to match the life. So sometimes there can be elements where it's cheaper not to. But he said it only happened probably 5% of the times that we didn't gross up. So there's a high chance. He goes, now we just save ourselves and the clients the hassle and all the extra work and we just match the death cover to the TPD cover.
Right. So you're saying here, instead of it being covered for 554, it should be 1.7.
Well, and this is why I would say to him, one, we don't know what the rationale of the advice is, and I'm not about to shat on an advisor's work.
No, but it's simply a question back to them.
But more to the question, we go to an advisor, we say, this is our situation. They will do a needs analysis and say, well, based on your need, if you couldn't work tomorrow, you need this much money.
Yep.
That gets us to a talking point of levels of cover and cost. What you could do, I don't think the cost here is screamingly over the top based on the level of cover. But what you could do is you could ask for some different options just for, all right, what does it look like to have 1.2 TPD?
Instead of the 1.7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's where the cost is, as they said. the only other thing I would say as well is,
And just asking what the 1.7 is based on.
well, it would be a multiple of replacement income if they could never work again.
Yeah.
It could even be, I kind of used to do it if there was a person who was in their 20s and if they owned a house, some of the TPD cover would clear the debt.
Yeah.
If there was no house, I allowed for the purchase of a house in their own area. So if they couldn't work ever again, they could buy a house with cash and not have rent anymore.
And obviously the age as well.
Yes.
So comparing it to someone that's 20 years older.
Yeah. But so what I want you to look at is if we say it was $3,000 a year anonymous based on a 110K package, I would be saying to them, if you went for a job and it was the exact same white-collar desk job and on your first interview or final interview, hey, John, we're going to offer you the job, you've got two options. We'll give you 110 grand a year. There's your package for that work. Or you can do $107,000 a year, lower salary, but if you couldn't work ever again for the rest of your life, money won't be a problem. Like what job, like it's the exact same role, like what salary would you take?
Yeah, well, it's a risk profile for people, isn't it? And personality is like, well, yeah, do I go with the guaranteed amount, lesser income? Like maybe that gives someone more peace of mind. There's no right or wrong, is there?
But yeah, I'd probably say in this day and age, and again, this is where I need to shut up, but I don't know, 1.2K through super and 1.7, I don't know if that's a typo.
Are we just looking at this?
Either way, here's your reality
much?
check.
It's
It's fine. Get insurance, get on, review it each year. If you're a bit squirmy in the gut and you're like, oh, it's getting a bit much, well, yeah, let's have a look at what the cost is without the own occupation TPD.
I'm not in this space, but that doesn't seem extreme to me.
No, it's not, and that's why they just wanted a reality check, so I thought I'd give them one. I think it's fine. You can always go back to the advisor and ask for some different prices, but if it's only going to be $300 a year less for 500 grand less cover, is it worth it? I don't know.
And depending, like it may have come from a price step level or stepped or whatever. Like last year it could have been X, so maybe comparing it to that, who knows?
All right, this kept me up last night, John.
Did it? Shit.
No, it didn't.
Hi all. Does anyone regret buying their house? What a statement. I have a huge Sydney mortgage, 1.65 mil, and the house worth maybe 2.2 to 2.3. Highish household income, 375K plus bonus. I think that's reasonably high. 2 kids are in primary school. I feel stuck. House isn't worth much more than when we bought it. If we were to sell, other than an apartment in our current suburb, we'd have to move a long way for significantly cheaper housing. And after transaction costs, would it be worth to sell? Current suburb is not our dream, but close to work and kids' school. I know this is our own doing. Looking for insight. Thank you.
And then I clarified what is the suburb, and they said Pennant Hills.
I know.
Nice leafy greens out there on the M2.
It is.
Nice little tunnel under your house nowadays.
Yeah. $9 or something it comes.
$9.
I think so, isn't it? Like
$9.
I think so, to go from one end to the other.
Oh, the toll.
Yes.
Right. I'm like, no idea.
Came through it last night. You go first.
This is kind of what I teased out at the top of the episode. You know, it would be someone's dream to have a household income of 375K plus bonus.
Yep. And living in Sydney.
Being
able to be in the market already and not have to.
Yeah, like I just think they feel stuck. And yeah, I get it. You've got a big mortgage. I think they wrote on another comment that the psychological factor of the interest is killing them. I really can't comment because I need to – actually, one thing I was going to do I'm just going to do really rough calculation because I just want to. So a lot of these things, it's like you can write anything you want in a freaking Facebook group, but tell me what money is left over each month after all expenses are paid.
Yeah, it makes the conversation a bit juicier. Yeah.
So let's just assume 2 incomes at 190 grand, right?
Well, we don't know how much the bonus is either.
No, but it's conservative for this. So per month, that 190 grand income is called 11 grand a month. So working on, say, 20 grand, 22 grand coming in.
1.65 times 6.5%.
Well, what would the interest be, like 50 grand or something?
I don't know, I haven't got a calculator, but 1.65 times 6.5%.
Just work that. Because I just want to I should have done this before we prepped.
Oh, the prep's always outstanding. So divide that by 52, John, is $2,062 a week. So times that by 4, a month is 8,250. So our P&I repayments are probably going to be about one person's 190K income. So that's 50% of our incoming money into your life. So it's up there. So I can feel, it's quite normal for someone to feel that they are a little bit stuck there. I think in these sort of situations, first of all, we've got to feel grateful and we've got to feel lucky that we're actually in this position in the first place. And I know we're not feeling this at the moment, but we need to think about what else is going on in the world. We've got our own home. We're in the biggest or most expensive capital city in Australia, in a good suburb. Our kids are close to school and work's not far away. It's not our dream suburb, but hey, what is? We've got to appreciate the position we're in. And they owned that and said, look, this is our own doing.
Yep.
We've got to then look at, well, what's the alternative? So the alternative isn't great for them to say, well, we get an apartment in our suburb. That's not what we want. If we wanted a house with a lower mortgage, we'd need to go further out. You've got choice. There's 3 straight away. The apartment, stay as is or go 20K further out and handle a more comfortable mortgage, or we just come to grips with that 1.65 mortgage, knowing that that's going to become less and less over payments.
I don't love 50% of income being paid on mortgages.
And they don't either, which is why they've written in, right?
I know, exactly.
So I look at it and say, well, renting is not an option. Go 20K further out and reestablish yourself with a lower mortgage, less stress. Now, I don't know how that impacts their 375K of income. Yeah. I don't know how that affects their primary school or their schooling for their kids, commute to work, all those things. So we've got to draw a line down the page and say, if we made this decision, what impacts our life with that decision? And then do the same for renting, and look at the scenarios and say, well, what we've got now might be still our best option.
Yeah. And that could be, we don't know the exacts, like one could be on 75K income, the other one could be on 300K bus. But we don't know that.
And do we enjoy our work?
Yeah.
That's the other part of it as well. How old are we? How long do we want to keep doing this for? What do we want to do other things in our life? We're not saving any money, so we can't go on holidays. Like, there's a fallout of all of this, but I know a lot of people who are spending 50% of their income on their mortgage and they're actually okay with it.
Yeah.
Because they're in the house they want, they're in the location they want, and they're in the school zone. Schooling's a big part of people's decision making.
So for me, we have to look at because it all goes back to our personal budget to start with. Because if they had higher income, they wouldn't feel as stuck. Like, it's fact. So we need to look at the 4 levers of a budget. If we want to change an outcome of our budget, there's 4 levers that we can pull. The first one is the income lever. We can increase the income. The second lever, which we don't want to do, is pull it and decrease savings. Now, there might not be much savings going on with this. The third lever we can do is review a line item in our budget. So if we've got 15 streaming accounts, we're going to go down and have 2 streaming accounts. So we reviewed a line item. The fourth lever that we can pull is to remove a line item completely, and that could be where we're removing the streaming item. Now, that's all well and good to say, well, that's cute, Glen. I don't think saving $30 a month is going to change the deal, and you're probably right. But it's a lever thing. We either broadly increase income or decrease expenses to have more margin in our life. If you want a change, so a radical change for them would be to not feel that they're paying $50,000 a year in interest, would be to not feel like they're living month on month. That would be a radical change. If you want a radical change in outcome, you need a radical change to cause that outcome. It's cause and effect. It goes back to the income thing. Like if you can, it's almost this Venn diagram, John, and I'll draw it here, and people can see this. And this should resonate with some people. So this is this, it's job/career, it's housing, it's schooling. I'm not good at art, everyone, am I? It's community. Like, that's the Venn diagram of life. And the more you go into one diagram, like the less Venn it has or whatever. Like, I don't know.
That's a layman's example.
Yeah,
isn't it?
I actually don't have an answer to this other than if you want a radical outcome, you need to do a radical change.
Okay, so
make sure you got your freaking insurances. I'd hate you.
Confident alpaca, if you're listening to this, would you change your tune if the house had gone up in value? Because that's it's been mentioned there that it's potentially an issue in their own mind.
I think it's $650K of equity. So where did that come from?
Yeah, well, as I said, it's their own doing. But house isn't worth much more than when we bought it. Now, that's the Sydney market 101 right now. If anything over 2 mil, give or take, is in sort of is treading water from a growth point of view. So that doesn't surprise me. But if it was worth 3 mil, would you be more comfortable with the mortgage of 1.65? That's probably the question that I'd ask. The second part is, whilst it's 50% of the mortgage, 50% of income, there's 11 grand, right? There's 11 grand that they've got to play with. Now, insurances, groceries, petrol in the car, all these things, they're an amount. They don't go up because your income is higher. So if it costs them 11 grand to live, I'd be surprised a month. So I reckon there's some spare change left over.
And and you're right. Like this, you know what? It's funny you say that. What happens, and I'm going to use a really bad example, right? So we just had that question about the trauma insurance, right? Or insurance. And we'll take the example of an insurance policy of $40 a month or something, $50 a month. Insert your thing, right? Yeah. What happens is money gets really tight and things are tight. They feel tight. And you fixate on something that you think is the problem, that once I get rid of that, the problem's solved. And I used to say it all the time. People call and go, oh, I'm cancelling my trauma insurance. Just can't afford it. Can't afford it. I'm like, you're literally on 300 grand a year. Like the facts say you can afford it, but you're sloppy with your money and you're looking for a scapegoat.
You got that bill today, for example.
Yeah, so it's like triggered you. It's like, another 80, it's increased $2 a month or something. That's it. So it's the scapegoat. And I wonder on a psychological level, knowing that we're spending 50 grand a year.
No, it's 107 grand on interest.
Is it really? Whatever that is, yeah.
But it's relative to the income. It's
Yes.
whether that income's sustainable for them.
But
Do
that's
they-
it. Like the psychology factor is, gosh, I would, and this comes to a point where you've got to almost see that interest component is just the cost of accommodation in Sydney.
Well,
Like
it-
that's
it
because
is,
like
yeah.
what do you do?
No, correct. And as I said at the start, be grateful and lucky because there's a lot probably listening in saying, I'm trying to get into the Sydney market. At least you've got a house. So,
But they've got 650K of equity,
yeah,
which is awesome.
sell it and move to the Central Coast.
Oh, would you get change out of $1 million anymore?
Well, you'd have $1 million less mortgage.
Yeah. But then you got to commute. And that's that. Insert the Venn diagram back
Correct.
here.
As I mentioned, like we travel, we move further out from more sustainable mortgage. Which one's going to make you happy? Put the pros and cons in the page to then have a conversation with your partner or whoever's in your family to say, well, okay, this is us for the next 5 years. This is a decision we make. We're comfortable with this decision.
Yeah. It's so funny. John and I a picture. Couple living in Pennant Hills, professional couple. I reckon they work for either Microsoft, Apple, or a big pharma company or a tech company. And it's like two good incomes. All that to say, if you're walking around earning 200K each, what's your career look like? Can you do something that is more flexible so you don't have to go into the office? And I don't know. I'm just not going to knee-jerk reaction and sell that house right now.
I'd be making hay while the sun shines and putting as much in the offset as you can.
So you're okay. So in finishing, you're also saying like just $2 million. What's 6% of 2 million? It's 120. Potentially, that interest paid each year is just moving to the balance sheet of capital.
Yeah, well,
Maybe.
they're
Are we getting?
because they've mentioned that, I don't think the house has gone up. They're probably looking, well, we're paying 170 in interest. Our house is not going up by 107. So in their own minds, they're actually losing money. You probably can't. Yes, you can look at that on a balance sheet, but you can't look at that in your life because that's your house that you're living in. Right now, the only way around that would be to sell a house and just rent and know that that's a rigid cost to rent. But yeah, you might be paying $1,000 a week. Well, it'd be more than that.
I actually had Pennant Hills on my phone this morning. Let me have a look because it's interesting to see. I did sold.
Have a look
interesting.
at
Do you know what? One thing interesting to look at. Like we're recording this at the first week of June. The amount of homes in Pennant Hills for sale that are going for auction.
Yeah.
So it's still a hot market.
Well, the clearance rates are low, but
That's right.
that's the thing. But
we're still.
You might just want to do an exercise to say how much would it cost you to rent your house that you own? Because that's often a good leveler to say, well, okay, if it cost me $1,500 a week to rent it, my interest to the bank is only $1,800.
And this is one sample bit of data. Thornley, which is just up the road, 4-bed, 2-bath, 1 car. Guess how much rent a week?
$1,200.
$975.
Okay, so that's cheap.
Yeah. There's another one here in Pennant Hills, a 433, $1,200 a week. Maybe they just need to go and rent.
Yeah, I'd be reluctant. I'd be looking at the cash flow management plan and just seeing how much you're putting away and working on the job stability thing. What does the next 5 years look like for us in our occupations? Because you don't know that those incomes are going to be there forever.
That's right. Yeah. Anyway, you've had a costume change. You're getting a bit cold in here, Tiger. Yeah. Yeah, I just think we have to get real data on the table.
Yes.
Categorically, do you think the house hasn't gone up in value or has it? Like they're probably right, but we get a lot of people, they come in and make these grand statements like, I can't access it for 50 years. Well, no, it's 35, but let's just get some grounding and make decisions. And maybe you need to have a chat with your partner and be like, hey, how are you feeling? Do we need to make a change?
Yeah.
But are we saying whatever they do, we're probably not in the mood to just sell a property in Sydney tomorrow?
No.
Can we put it on interest only for a few years? Can we extend the loan term? Can we try and take some pressure off?
They might want a clarity call.
Yeah, give John a call. And yeah, you can annoy him in person.
If this all hasn't helped.
Yeah, probably has hindered. Anyway, my friends, hey, anything we've discussed today, let us know in the comments on Spotify, on YouTube. I usually hang around and try and respond. And yeah, would appreciate your vibes if this has been useful. Maybe you could send it to a friend or family member. And remember, this book is probably ready to be posted to you right now. The Quick Start Guide to Your First Property. It'll help anyone who wants to buy a property. Even if you've got a home and you want to buy your first investment property, there's principles in here that we stole from John and put under our name. So there you go.
Pick up your keys.
My name is Glen James, joined by
On Pidgeon.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Any advice is general financial advice only, which does not take into account your objectives, financial situation, or needs. Because of that, you should consider if the advice is appropriate to you and your needs before acting on the information. If you do choose to buy a financial product, read the Product Disclosure Statement, PDS, and Target Market Determination, TMD, and obtain appropriate financial advice tailored to your needs. Simo Interactive Pty Ltd, the publisher of this podcast, and Glen James are authorised representatives of Money Sherpa Pty Ltd, which holds financial services license 451289. Opinions or comments from any guests on the podcast are theirs and not those of the host or the publisher or their respective license holders.